something big that's coming, but bear with me. Got to set this up properly. First of all, good morning. Welcome to the Savage Nation. I need to know if you can hear me. If you can hear me, say yes. It looks like there's a strike on that. Welcome to the Savage Nation. Here we are. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'd like to hear your comments. If you can hear me, say yes, I can hear you. I need to warm up. Make believe this is the orchestra warming up in the pit. And I'm looking forward to your comments because I'm going to give you a little tour of something right now that will be part of something bigger. Hello, good morning. Yes, you can hear me. Excellent, beautiful. And now I will let you see my beautiful face that God made and will take back one day. God knows what he'll do with it, turn it into puppets or something on another planet. I don't know. We don't know. Where do we really know? We don't know. We all guess. We hope. We pray. So where shall I begin? Well, let me begin at the beginning. Let's begin at the beginning of what I intend to do with you today. And that would be, let's start with the first and most significant, let's see, here. This book was published in 1972. It was my first commercial book and my first commercial success, Earth Medicine, Earth Food. I poured my heart and soul into this. I can't believe it. I have the original press release, which is really rare. Macmillan Publishing Company, my God, 1972. This book was in print for 50 years. That's how long this has been. I don't know if it's still in print, but it's about American Indian plants that were used for remedies and foods and whatnot. It's a very important book, particularly to Native Americans who have told me that I actually helped them rescue some of the lore of their ancients. And the young ones don't know anything about their grandfather or grandmother's healing plants. And this, they say, is now a cornerstone of many Native American libraries. So I began with that. The last commercial book I have done is this one. But there are books that you know of and books you don't know about. I wrote a book on beer, poured my heart and soul into that. I wrote a book to save America's. I tried to regreen America. I'm just moving around here. Plant a tree. I spent 3 years on this book. State by state plans for regreening America. Each state and state by state, which trees would grow best in urban environments, how to plant a tree. It was a great book. Beautiful, beautiful halftones from the old days when America still had an interest in trees, when arbor and arborists were known. I found some nostalgically beautiful photographs of trees, but more importantly, it's a state-by-state list of how to regreen America. I don't know, this book alone, well, just leave it at that, this book alone. Now, here's an odd book that was mentioned last week on the Gov Newsom podcast. I don't know how he knew I published this, but I did. This was a long story, very important book, way ahead of its time. I don't even want to talk about it right now. And then there are books along the way that you may have heard reference to. A novel I wrote called Vital Signs, published by a small press in '83. This is an important book, The Skeptical Nutritionist, very important book. I think it was done in '83. Let's see now. Copyright 1981 by Michael A. Weiner. So, I'm sorry, there we go. And there are so many breakthrough ideas in this book that I'm not going to. This is where the ethnic factor was first elucidated by me, where ethnic diets were discussed and elucidated, ethnic diets from the distant past, because many people say I'm eating Italian food when they're really eating 19th century Italian holiday food. They're not eating Italian food. Italian food is very basic. In the last several centuries, what it was wheat. It was a wheat noodle or rice, and it was vegetables with very little animal protein. Veal Parmesan is not Italian food. Tiramisu is not Italian food. These are holiday foods, wedding foods. It's the same with Jewish foods. I grew up thinking that corned beef on club with a pickle was Jewish food. That's poison, toxic food. It's killed more members of my family than the pogroms, I think. That's a joke. Not a joke, but it's a joke. Uh, that's poisonous food, toxic, salty, fatty garbage. Traditional Jewish food would be a Yemenite diet, or shall I say a Houthi diet, but I dare not say a Houthi diet. But yes, a traditional Houthi diet would be traditional Jewish food. A little tongue in cheek there. So let's move on here. It's going to be a very short video, and I'll tell you why I'm doing this. It's very important. Oh, I must show you this. You know what this is? It's an important story. 1967, I am a science consultant in New York City, or a high school teacher, then became a science consultant. And I went to the New York, they were running a campaign on every subway stop where they would show different people like architect, teacher, social worker, graphic designer. And if you got them to take your picture, if you're one of those selected, it would be in every subway station in New York. And the campaign was, I got my job through the New York Times. So there it is. There's me, 1967, smiling away at LaGuardia Airport. The New York Times sent the photographer out. And I wound up in every subway stop. I didn't even get paid for it. I just loved the exposure. And I remember taking the subway to and from work, from Queens to Manhattan. And in every subway station, as the train shot through at some rapid speed, I'd see my face in a blur going by, which was very funny. Enjoyed it very much. Here's a series of novels that are worth discussing. Abuse of Power, Countdown to Mecca, and I forget the third in the trilogy. Honest to God, there's too many things for me to remember it all. But there was a trilogy of Jack Hatfield novels. Abuse of Power, Countdown to Mecca, and then there was a third book in this series. These were all New York Times bestsellers, and of course not covered by the New York Times nor by the San Francisco Chronicle, because it's not about gay, lesbian, anti-American, anti-police, anti-family, anti-church in theme. Therefore, it didn't exist. Very important series of books. In a normal time, these would be three major films played by three major actors, and I would have received an Academy Award for Best Original Screenplay. But we don't live in normal times. We live in very sick, sad times, and it's very hard to fix it. Now, here is an important book. Banned in Britain. I don't want to go into that story. Look it up. I'm the only member of the American media who is still not permitted to fly into Britain. Islamists who say kill the Queen, kill the King, kill the English, take down Shakespeare, Churchill is a racist, those pieces of shit are allowed in England. I am not allowed in England because of the patsies who took it over. England has been penetrated by the weaklings and the demons of perversion who have allowed the Muslim fanatics to take over their country. I'm banned, they're not. Have a nice day. Very important story. So there are others here, and the reason I'm showing these to you today is because I'm coming upon a birthday on March 31st. Now let me switch the camera around. I'm showing the picture. I'm coming upon a birthday on March 31st. And there's no point in telling you my age. You can pretty much look it up. Pretty much everyone who follows me knows my age. I believe I'm the eldest person, I didn't say oldest, the eldest in the media in America who is still high functioning at a very high level. And I'm very proud of that. And a film crew is coming out next Thursday. It's this coming Thursday, Friday, Sunday, to record a documentary of me that's been authorized by Newsmax TV network, where I have my own show on Sunday evenings, and also I appear on Mondays on the Carl Higg Show and Thursdays on the Rob Schmidt shows, which I've done for years. So they gave me my own show. I'm in the sixth or seventh show this Sunday. And on Sunday night, right after the show, there is a local Jewish community that is making me the president of the Jewish community, which is very odd because I'm not that religious in a traditional sense. You might say I'm very spiritual. You might say I'm very mystical. You could say anything you want. And all of them would be true in that regard. So this Jewish group is not a liberal Jewish group. These are, I call them, if you're a Christian, a fundamentalist Jewish group. That's who they are. These are the black hats, but the good ones, not the crazy ones. These are super supporters, very conservative, very family oriented, wonderful people. And I traveled in their circles years, 4 years, as an outlier, not as a practitioner. I've tried many times to become a better religious person, but truthfully, I can't. I try the rituals and nothing happens. I don't know how to explain it to you because I've always felt, how's the lighting here? That's a nice spot. I've always felt that if a religious ritual doesn't give you strength, it's of no value. So I'm praying to an imaginary God or a real God. Let's say it's a real God, which I believe is there. There's a God somewhere. Okay. So I once asked a rabbi in a cynical day of mine many years ago, if God is so powerful, why does he need us to pray to him? And this wise man said, he doesn't need us to pray to him. We need him so we can pray to him. It's a very interesting turn of concepts there. We as man must worship something greater than ourselves, lest we become like those in the Democrat Party or in San Francisco, where they think they are gods unto themselves. And look where that has taken them. Look where that has taken them. So it's very important to retain that humble idea of who we really are and that there's only one true God. So when I state these things on YouTube, these very religious men have said to me, I'm more religious than some of those most religious amongst them. So they're making me the president of a local community. It's a big 100-person celebration this Sunday. We expect some very important people to be there, meaning everyone there will be very important. It's by invitation only, so please don't try to find out where it is because you won't be admitted. And I have prepared in my mind a small 20-minute or 15-minute speech. But at this event, which is sort of the culmination of all, I don't know how this is happening, and I have an eerie feeling. I don't like the feeling, but I have to live with what I'm feeling. There's too many things closing circles on me right now for me not to notice them. A lot of things are closing circles. And although that circle is closing, if God wants me to, he will keep me on this earth in a good manner for a certain number of years or time to do work only for him, period, end of story. I'm entering a new phase of my life as I see it. All the other circles are coming to a conclusion. So the film crew will be here documenting my life. And I showed you the books, that's almost all of them, that I have published. I'm not showing you the unpublished manuscripts, the unpublished books. I haven't really delved into some of them and why they're really important. I haven't shown you the gun collections. I haven't shown you the paintings, the bronze collections. I haven't shown you my own paintings. I haven't shown you my cars. I haven't shown you my boat because I don't have a boat anymore. I haven't shown you my dog because he's in dog heaven. So there are aspects to a man's life, if he has reached a certain age and has been very productive, despite all of the steel traps, despite all of the failures in his own being, all of the failures in his own life, if he has been as productive as I have, it's almost impossible to summarize in a film, in a book, what your life is all about. They're going to try to do it. This is the same film team that recently did a documentary on Elon Musk that was broadcast on Newsmax TV. It was excellent. It was super well done. I was actually quoted in it. And I said, I don't know anything about Elon Musk. I never met him. They said, yes, but you know about free speech. Talk about that. And I did. And that was in that documentary, if you happen to catch it. So these people have gotten to know me a little bit. They're coming up Thursday, and we're going to start the filming. And I'm exhausted in a way in advance in telling my own story. It's very hard for a person to sit and talk about themselves, no matter how egotistical they may be. And I'm quite egotistical, I admit it. You could say I'm a narcissist. You wouldn't be wrong. There is not a person who is well known in the world who is not egotistical and narcissistic. If they say they aren't, they're full of crap. The reason that they're successful is because they're egotistical and narcissistic, meaning they think that their life is important. They want you to know it. And they work their hearts out to appeal to you. So the filmmaker said to me, it's astounding that you are so relevant in the world of politics and media at this time in American history and in your life. After all these years, you're still high functioning. It's actually unbelievable how many people you've influenced, he said to me. So we're going to get into all of that through a series of questions and answers that he's going to record Sunday. And then he's going to come to that event where I'm made into this president to the local community to be an outreach, I think, from the religious to yes, they were out. What do you want me to do? He said, let God decide. So I truly believe in fate, meaning God. I think fate and God are one and the same. And I think I'll conclude by telling you a story. Would that work for you? First, I got to change my setting because the light's hurting my eyes, even though it's and it ended, hold on, please. It ended quite abruptly with me stopping. At the end of the story, I ended it, and people thought I was cut off. I wasn't cut off. I was telling you the story in the way it is told in the religious Jewish tradition amongst the ultra-Orthodox mystics. And what it is, they tell a story, and they don't say, and that's the end of the story. Now, no, they stop it like a jazz piece. This is why in radio I was so good. My timing was based upon music and mysticism. So in other words, if I would tell you something on the radio and then cut, you'd say, you didn't know what hit you. It would reverberate in your brain. Just a little something to think about, just technique. It can't be learned. It has to be understood before it could be taught. And then it's up to the person to see whether they understand it at all. Anyway, so the story is like this. I told it the other day, and I think it's worth telling you again. How's my sound? Are we going well here? Yeah? Okay, we're going well. So, do we really know the meaning of our lives? Some of us may, most of us don't. Most of us just drift through life, and then if we're lucky enough, we get to a certain old age and we get sick and suffer and die. That's the normal life. I don't care if you've worked out, gobbled pills, eaten right. I don't care what you do. It ends the same way for everybody unless you're hit by an overhead line or something horrible happens to you. If you're lucky enough to live a long life, you get a nice reward at the end, which is to be crippled, bent over, turned into a bumbling idiot who doesn't know who he is, and die a horrible death in an old age home. That's it. That's the reward. That's the beauty of living a long life. You pray for it all your life. You work for it. Most of us don't get there. I get that. Maybe 65, 70 tops, 75-ish. So here's how the story goes. I'm just going on and on with you right now. I guess I want to, because this is a prelude to a whole deal coming up. I understand from one of my associates that the video stopped at 18 minutes. I had no idea. I was talking and it ended about halfway through. So here I am back with you. And if you're listening, I'm going to finish a portion of how I ended the other video. We call this part 2 of the other video. The big announcement coming up. Can you hear me? I'd like to see your comments if you can. I know I got a little delay here. Yes, are we good now? Hello. Okay, guys. So I'm going to continue now. There's a statue of Balzac that I've had since I'm a young man. I bought that once. There used to be a Sculpture of the Month club. Would you believe it? When I was 18, I bought that of Balzac because I was such a fanatical reader of great literature. That's before Jenny Had Two Mommies and Billy Has Three Fathers became the only book sold in Barnes & Noble. Anyway, to get back to what I was saying, I'm going to tell you the story now. So big story is a video crew is coming out. They're going to film my life. It's going to be on Newsmax TV a month from now. It's the same film crew that did the Elon Musk bio. And I'm collecting all the materials for that particular event. There's some more up here I didn't even get to. And before I tell you the final story, here are some of the other things I've collected. From a toy car I had as a kid, which you might say, why is that? Because I'm still a car nut, to a very important honor that President Trump bestowed upon me, making me a member of the board of directors of the Presidio Trust. And of course, the verminous Biden administration removed all members of all boards across the country that were appointed by Trump before their terms were up, which is unprecedented in American history. No other president in history ever took off a previous president's removed prior president's appointees before their terms were up. Biden was a first-class gangster, criminal, all-around bad guy. I wasn't the only one. Across the board, people were taking off boards that Trump had put them on. He was a piece of the lowest order. Biden was about the most evil, incompetent bastard that ever inhabited the White House. And I hope to God there's someday people come to understand how evil this man really was. But I'm not here to get angry, and I don't seek vengeance towards anyone. I have no power. I'm just a man alone watching the world go around. So here's how I ended the last broadcast. It's an important story. The mystics believe that you should look at what's written, the white between the letters. A letter's in typeface, it's in black ink. They say look at the white between the black to understand what's going on in the universe. In other words, we see the black ink and it says a certain thing. I am Joe Smith. They tell you to look inside the white between the ink to understand what's really going on. Get it? So I'm going to tell you something. Now you decide whether it's the white or the black. Rabbi in New York gets a note from the head rabbi in Belgium to come to see him. And like any other major organization, whether it be a president of a corporation or a president of the nation, if someone tells you to come see them and it's the president, you don't ask why, you go. So this rabbi in New York arranges the tickets. He goes, he has to stop at Heathrow. The plane lands in London. He gets off a 2-hour layover on the way to Belgium. He sits on a bench in the terminal, waiting for the plane, the next one to Belgium. And a man sits down next to him, and they start to chat. And one word leads to the other. The rabbi asks him what's going on in his life. And the man says he's going to end his life in the next few days because he has no reason to live. Certain bad things happen to him. His sad story is so terrible, he can't live with it. And the rabbi talks to him and says that his life is sacred, that he doesn't understand his purpose. Only God knows his purpose. And only God has the power to take his life. He has no power to take his own life because he doesn't own his own body. That body belongs to God who put him here. And then the man has a revelation. And he decides, he says to the rabbi, okay, I get it. I'm not going to do that. I won't kill myself. All right, so that story end there. Plane comes, London to Belgium. He gets on, gets off, gets in the car, goes to visit the head rabbi who called him, the rabbi from New York. He goes in the guy's office, the head rabbi, and he says, Rabbi, you called me all the way from New York. I don't even know why I'm here. Please tell me why you called me. What's so important that I fly all this way? So the head rabbi looks at him and says, Yitzhak, tell me what happened on the way here. He said, well, I was stopped at Heathrow and I was sitting on a bench and a guy came over and we talked and he was going to commit suicide. And I told him about Hashem and God and how his life is not his to take. And the man decided not to kill himself. So the head rabbi says, good, Yitzhak, now you can go home. That, my friends, is a whole story. Ends. In radio, I would end it there and cut right to a break. It's a jazz cut. If you listen to great jazz, they cut right there. But I'm doing a YouTube thing. It's a different thing. That's the whole story. So what I'm saying to you is you don't know the significance of your life. We don't even know the significance of things we have done on this planet. And when we meet God, do you think he's going to ask you how many followers you have on YouTube or on Twitter? He's not going to ask you that. I had 1,600,000, but God, wait, before you make a decision, I had 16 million followers. You did? And where'd you lead them? Next case, hang him from the rafters through eternity. Bring in the next one. Next one comes. I had 12 million followers. God, I was just great. Everyone loved me. And where'd you lead them? I led them astray. Okay, he shall have his feet cut off in hell for the rest of eternity. Next case. So you don't have to have a lot of followers. You have to understand where you yourself came from, where you're going, what you've done with your life. We all hurt someone, whether we know it or not. We've tried not to. We all have apologies to make. We all did good too. Do we know we did good? Some of us may not even know we did good. Some of us know we did good. I like that lamp over my head. It's very funny. But guys, We don't know the good we do or the bad we do necessarily. We have some knowledge of it. That's the black in the printed letter. But the white between the printed letter is what we don't know. We don't know who we hurt or who we helped sometimes. What's important is to keep swimming, keep moving through life. And every day say to yourself, before I get up, my feet go out in 1,000 ways. Which road shall I follow? You can go in 1,000 roads any day. Which road are you going to follow? If you learn to follow the basic tenets, the preachings of all of the great world's religions, you'll go right. You'll never go wrong. And that's all I have to say. And you can hit the like button because I need to tell God how many likes I got today and such. No, because it's an important message to help people, I think, right? Hit the like button, subscribe. You'll feel better. You'll make me feel better. Remember, tonight, nothing special. Sunday night, something special. My TV show on Newsmax TV, very special show on rare earth minerals. Podcast on Tuesday, Michael Savage podcast, Savage Nation podcast. Friday podcast. TV show Monday on Carl Higbee. Thursday on TV show on Rob Schmidt. And every Sunday night, my own TV show, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. And this one of the rare earth minerals is a very good one. I don't know what I'm going to be doing for next Sunday night. Frankly, this should be the show for next Sunday night. I wish we could take this YouTube show and turn it into next Sunday's TV show. This is what it should be. Because by the time you watch this show, within an hour, I'm going to be inducted as the liaison between the religious and the secular in that community, the Jewish community. And God knows I'm the least religious guy on the planet. Not the least. No, I know the religion very well, and certainly I know God is up there. The main thing is I feel God. I mean, some people are very religious and don't know God. I can't speak for the next man. Forgive me for that. Some people do all of the religious stuff and they don't commune with God. Other people don't go to a formal house of worship, but they feel God and they act in a godly way. Isn't that your understanding of life? A humble social worker could do more good sometimes than the most well-meaning, visible person who's a do-gooder. A teacher can do more good for one student in a classroom, shaping a life. One good word to a kid who's shy, a kid who can't speak well, to give the child the courage to speak well. That's a beautiful thing for a teacher to do. Say to the student who has a speech impediment, don't worry, how you say it doesn't matter that much. It's what you're saying, and we all hear you. That may encourage that child with a speech impediment to speak. It's amazing the power of words. And so we do good, we do bad, and something in between. Most of us do nothing. We try our best. And that's it for tonight. Thank you for being with me. I hope you got this one and it didn't fail again. Until we meet again, God is great.